Running has been a basic necessity for survival for all living things since the beginning of time, and humans are some of the best long-distance runners in the world. With their intelligence and natural ability, they use these talents for hunting and travel long before anybody ever raced a marathon. For example, a technique for hunting using these traits has been used by humans since prehistoric times, and is still used today by some African tribes. Although most animals can outsprint a human, they can only sprint for a short period of time or else they risk overheating and eventually death. Humans use this to their advantage because their bodies don't overheat as easily, and pass out before they reach the point of death. So humans developed the tactic to spread out in groups, chase an animal into each other until it gets tired and gives the humans an opportunity to hunt it. Humans' talent for running is due to a few characteristics. Their lung size is notably larger than most animals, and they have a high VO2 max, which is the amount of oxygen that is pumped through the bloodstream to power the muscles. A formula to describe this could be work equals force times distance. But this formula is different for everyone and other animals. For example, cheetahs can sprint up to 70 miles per hour but can only maintain the speed for a short amount of time. So hypothetically, if a cheetah was trying to catch its prey, it would have to calculate the amount of time it takes to reach its top speed, then how long it must maintain this before its prey can escape. Fortunately, in today's modern living lifestyle, humans are likely never to be in this kind of situation, but similar answers are needed in sport and competition. Running has become a multi-billion-dollar industry, and extensive research has gone into the effort of perfecting it. Through this research, it has been found that there are two types of running separated at 273 meters. Anything over being a run, and anything under being a sprint if it's at a hard effort. This is because a sprint is anaerobic, meaning it's a run using only the supply of oxygen present in the body at the start of the sprint. To improve an athlete's sprinting, they must do specific workouts and drills that train their speed and build their strength. This is because these are the factors that determine the amount of force that can be exerted, how fast a stride could be, and how fast they can actually sprint. A run requires aerobic ability, meaning it requires the use of red blood cells and fuel storage to pump new sources of oxygen throughout the body. When someone runs a marathon or another long-distance event, it not only takes aerobic ability to be able to finish the distance, but also to do it faster than a competitor. This is dependent on their VO2 max. This can be summarized in the formula distance times time equals force times distance propelled times the amount of oxygen intake. For an athlete, it's important to have efficient running form to be able to use their speed, strength, and VO2 max to the most of their abilities. When running, a body's center of mass moves in parabolic arcs because there is a point where the body is completely off the ground. And during this time in the air, there are some opportunities for improving form. One way this can be done is by shortening the angle of the fibula and tibia, causing the body to land on the midfoot instead of the heel, which is demonstrated here by Haile Gebrselassie. This gets rid of the time spent transitioning the center of gravity from the heel to the midfoot, and would minimize the time spent per stride. This improvement of form can be described with the formula average time spent on transition plus the time spent on foot minus the time spent on foot with midfoot land equals the difference in time on feet. The reason humans don't naturally run most efficiently is because modernization has stopped the evolutionary path. When the average person runs, they heel strike because the muscles used to run properly are weak, and most shoes absorb the impact to let the heel striking be more forgiving than it would barefoot on most surfaces. If someone were to run barefoot, they would quickly find out that the most efficient and most comfortable way is to land on the midfoot. Another way to prove that modernization has slowed our evolutionary path is the observation of other cultures. One drastic example of this are some tribes of people living in the Mexican mountains called the Tarahumara Indians. In their culture, travel and leading a nomadic life is important because of the harsh wilderness and quest for solitude. Because of this, they've become able to run extremely long distances without food or water. It has been noted by some outsiders that they've run up to 300 miles at once, and sometimes kicking a ball the whole way. With all the research going into this topic, if someone were to properly understand the math that goes into the most efficient way to sprint or run, it might in some cases grant them another day to live, a large sum in sponsorship money, or to simply run faster today than they did yesterday.